On to step 4 of the CODO mindset. This is where we pull out our trusty readers and get comfy because it's time to start researching. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind is that playing for the other team to win and closing on day one is never going to look the same twice, okay? The tactics and the approach that you employ are going to ebb and flow with the time of year, the target markets that you're in, the economy, just to name a few separate factors. But your mindset, that CODO mindset, will remain consistent. Now, as an agent, you need to be a chameleon. Okay? You have to be able to adapt on the outside to whatever the external forces are that are influencing your deal while remaining steady with your mindset. You're a closer. Changes in the market need to be addressed in the negotiation process just as much as any other factor. First off, shifts in the market create unease for clients. Okay? And let's be honest, for agents too, right? Anytime the market shifts, anytime rates go up or go down, the stock market goes up or goes down, a company goes up or goes down, files for bankruptcy, anything that could happen, everyone gets nervous. They'll stop. When things are bad, they've never been worse. When things are great, they've never been better. And when folks are feeling unsettled or anxious, it tends to launch a high stakes, high emotions situation into outer space, right? Obviously, I can't give you all the answers right now because the market at the very moment that we're taking this class together could be the polar opposite of what it is when you end up actually watching this. I have many talents. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty great, but I am not a psychic. I cannot tell the future. I've tried many a times, but there are a few ways to address this. And there's no hard and fast rule for which method works at which time, which is yet another bit of support for the fact that agents need to be flexible and able to adapt to every circumstance, especially when it comes to fluid markets. And no one is just naturally super flexible. Even gymnasts need to stretch before doing all those wild flips, right? As agents, we stretch by keeping ourselves informed. I can't do my job if I don't know what's happening in my world. Imagine a chef who doesn't know that there's a national trend towards healthier food, towards matcha or vegan, or who knows whatever the trend is that is pushing all the consumers towards. Big chefs have to know that. Or what about a doctor that doesn't know about, I don't know, the COVID vaccination? How a doctor would not know that? But I don't know. They're not doing their job if they're not keeping up with their field. And while they're not saving lives, I mean, maybe we are, right? Should we add lifesaver to that list of our roles? We are still putting ourselves and our clients at a disadvantage if we are not doing our own due diligence. You have to know your stuff. Now, part of that means being an information machine. And I can't stress it enough. You need to find the publications and the media that you trust and spend part of your morning every day checking up on the things that are relevant to your market. Keep your eye on any market-related trainings your brokerage or local trade association pushes out. Check in periodically with the mortgage brokers you work with to get a sense of the trends or changes they're noticing. Talk to attorneys. Learn what's happening outside of your own little bubble. Follow local reporters who cover your local market on social media. Even better, engage with them, ask questions, comment under their videos, and read their coverage. Be an information machine, because your clients are going to come to you with all types of feelings as to why they can't do something, and you are going to overcome those objections with facts, information that you have that will push them along the path of certainty towards closing. And you got to be bringing that information to the table on day one, because it won't make anyone feel at all comfortable if all of a sudden you only know things when you're trying to get them to close 3 months into the process. Nope, the trust is already out the window. On day one, you are bringing the fact that you are an information machine to the table, so they know they don't have to look anywhere else, because man, oh man, she knows her stuff. Now, some of my favorite stops to make on my daily reading journey are the Wall Street Journal. I don't read the whole thing. I skim, I go through it. What do I need to know, right? Inman, The Real Deal, CNBC, okay? For hyper local coverage, like market specific coverage. I'm based in New York City. I check in daily with local press like the New York Post, the East Hampton Star for news about our Hamptons market. And no matter what the market is, you'll maintain a solid working foundation for yourself if you keep up with it. And make sure you check out our personal brand course too if you haven't yet, where we really go into how to turn press and reporter relationships into a machine for your business and brand and lead gen. So let's talk about tactics for the two extreme ends of the spectrum. Now, starting with when inventory is low and demand is high. Our low inventory course actually goes into this in far more depth, so check that out too for more information. But for now, I want to cover some of the basics. When there's low inventory and the market is favoring the sellers in a big way, you need to find a way to add value to the work that you're doing to bring buyers and sellers together. I like to call this making a market, which sounds funny, but is really just a way to leverage your resources and connections in order to make the best out of the things that you can control. You're not going to be able to control someone else's client placing a higher bid than you, but you can manage your own client's expectations by ensuring that they know what the process means and looks like. You can't control what the home inspections bring up, but you can come to your client prepared with contractors, with plumbers, with electricians, and resources for approaching any of the issues that are revealed. You can tell your client before the inspection ever happens that the inspector's job is to find problems. So don't freak out, don't panic. When the inspection report is 10 pages, no problem. That's what's supposed to happen. It's okay. Don't ignore it. Close on day one. Closing on day one in a seller's market is truly about your ability to prepare your buyer for what is going to happen next. Keep them calm. Provide resources, manage their expectations, and be transparent about the things that you can and cannot control. For example, if you're representing a buyer in a seller's market, your goal is to make your client look as attractive as possible to potential sellers. The market will dictate how you present your client. You need to have a clear understanding of how to best position your client based on market factors. Understanding how to navigate specific markets is a whole course in itself. Which reminds me, I have a whole course on this. But we can't get into a whole deep dive on this here, but check it out in a low inventory course for more on navigating specific market conditions. But up until this point, I've been exploring mostly the internal pieces of this negotiation puzzle. But the external factors and your surroundings are just as important in building the environment of comfort and trust that facilitates a successful negotiation. And in the next chapter, I'm going to talk about the importance of making careful decisions about where and how you communicate during a negotiation.